Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. A couple days after Christmas. And the past 2 days have just been family focused, and I haven't been at the studio, which that's pretty normal. I'm not at the studio as often as I would like to be. But wanted to talk about some hidden costs I never expected going in ownership things. You look at spreadsheets, you look at so many documents, and I should have something that I'm going to take with me moving forward is how close is the owner to the location? Because a lot of folks will put in sweat equity and you don't get a financial value on that on paper. One of the clubs that I actually was trying to pull the trigger on before these clubs was actually at Anytime Fitness out in Oregon. And I live in Minnesota, and the seller lives in Tennessee. And for that deal, it was easy because everything, of course, had to be on paper. He visits the studio maybe once a year, but everything silly and small was always accounted for because he was never doing it on his own dime or his own time. And here with the studio, I live 15 minutes away from it, and the sellers live 15 to 30 minutes away from it. And so we're all in the same metro area, Twin Cities. So it's easy. Whatever sweat equity they were going to do, implied in the spreadsheet is that the owner does the same sweat equity, which I have a different operating model. I have a slightly different involvement strategy. And so I was going to have more financial costs, still have less time costs. So when looking at the deal in Oregon for that Anytime Fitness, the owner was absent. I was going to be absent. So it's apples to apples. And so that's the end of that one. For this one here that I live close to, I live close, they live close, but they were doing a lot of stuff in person that I was not going to be doing in person. And so that's the financial cost I didn't factor. So here are those things that I did not factor. The first one, the owner was a CPA and did all their tax work. So one of the owners was like a personal trainer. The other owner was an accountant CPA type person. Something that did not show up in the spreadsheet, which I should have accounted for, is the monthly cost of bookkeeping, software subscription for that, and running a payroll and annual tax filing. The owner was doing their own payroll. He ran through his own software that he uses his day job, and I'm using a vendor like a KDP, a Paycheck, a Gusto, one of those folks. If you choose to advertise and sponsor me, then I'll tell you which one I use. But that's the cost. And now monthly payroll cost, the cost of sending people their paycheck. That's an actual cost. I don't know what it is, so we'll just put it down to $500 a month. I don't know the value. We'll just put that down. I hired out someone to do the tax strategy, the bookkeeping, and the tax filing for me. And I'll admit, that's a bit. Historically, he works with mainly software companies, but he's a friend of a friend and he's expensive. He's charging me $3,000 a month, which is extremely expensive. So he does just basic bookkeeping, keeping up the ledger, keeping up with the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement. That's close to $500 a month. So I'm paying a lot of money. But I'm also getting the tax strategy and some annual filings all rolled into that monthly payment. And so at the end of the year, I'll pay $0 for my tax filings because I'm paying it. But that's something that is, since the seller was doing all of that on his own weekends and time, that's something that I didn't see in the filing, in the profit and loss statement. That's because he was doing it out of his own time and not goodwill, but out of his own time. So that's something that I did not account for. That's a $2,500 difference that I'm now paying, that I wasn't paying. Another sweat equity thing, the other owner, the personal trainer, was in person at the studio. Not every day, but he was cycling through all three of his studios. So he was in each studio twice a week. Depending on if one was struggling, he was in there more, but in there twice a week. And so now he's doing the sales calls, he's taking in stacking hours, and here's where it's a little bit gray, or not gray. Here's where I thought I was accounting for that, but I wasn't really. Each club is staffed fully at all hours of the day. So there's always someone who's gone through franchise training, someone who knows the ins and outs of the club, and the owner would be there on site. So technically there were 2 people on site. So now if there's a lead and there's admin work, someone can take the lead and someone's doing the admin work. If there's 2 leads, you can take both leads, because when the owner takes the lead, the general manager takes the other lead. If there's just a heck of a lot of admin work and like measurements, in bodies, and inventory, and calling current members, you can now divvy that between 2 people. So on paper, I saw the monthly and annual payroll, and I thought, oh yeah, the manager is on site. So yeah, I ran it. That one I actually ran and calculated, like, yeah, it looks like they're accounting for all hours. The owner's not doing free work. But implicitly, the owner I should have calculated that there were 2 employees on site for a lot of that work. Because if one person is doing a lead, another person is doing admin work, I was only assuming one person could get it all done. And right now, one person is getting a lot of that all done, which is amazing. That's incredible. I'm speechless on how they do it. But that's not the way that the prior person was doing. But I should have accounted that they had 2 employees on site. That would have skewed the payroll a lot higher. And candidly, I would have been more hesitant to give a massive pay raise, because I would have needed that cash to afford a second member. Right now, my management team is saying, hey, we're doing a lot of work. This is great. We appreciate the pay raise, but we need another employee to get this all done. And my mind said, well, there is no money for that. 3 months in, the bank balance is still the exact same as it was the first day that I bought the place. So no, there is no money. We can't afford to hire another person. So sorry. And I haven't said that yet, but that's where it's going to be. If I'm going to give a $20,000 pay raise, that's $20,000 not for hiring an additional person. So that's something I have to account for as well. I didn't realize they had 2 people on site a lot of the time. And the owner was doing probably 20 hours a week, sweat equity, and I saw that they were there, and I didn't fully account for all of that they were doing. I thought they were just trusting and verifying, and I didn't realize they were doing as much as they were. What else? Social media. I hired a social media company, and even though so here's the kind of sales strategy, how it changed. The prior owners, the personal training owner, he would do a lot of the hustle for the sales. So he would call referrals, he would call leads, he would like shake hands, kiss babies, that kind of thing, to generate leads and new business. I'm doing a digital heavy strategy, so very much Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, like that kind of advertise. And so I'm paying an agency $2,000 a month to do that. And I'm also paying ad spend. And so that comes out to probably $4,000 a month total between the agency and the ad spend. That has actually been picking up. So it's probably $6,000 a month. And the prior owners were doing it on their own. Now, granted, they were not doing a fantastic job, but they were not paying an agency and they were doing a smaller ad budget. They're paying probably $2,000 a month in total marketing costs. I'm paying $6,000 a month. And so of the 6, which is very high, proportionally, I'm in a growth phase, so I'm fine with it being higher than benchmark. But that's a $4,000 bump in marketing and advertising that I'm spending. And I'm also paying a sales rep $3,000 a month to follow up these leads, because I don't have the time or the skill set to do it, and I will get there, but I'm not there right now. And that's an additional cost. So all I have to say, the prior owner would call these leads, he'd get like free referrals, and then call and work them really hard. And that's different. So here's what it all comes down to. Here are added costs I did not see on the spreadsheet that are in reality that new owners need to factor in. The cost of your sales team, whether it be commissions or contractor or payroll. I got a sales rep, that's bonus $3,000. I've got an agency, it's extra $2,000 for up to $5,000. I'm doing more ads, so that's an extra $7,000. Okay, that's an extra $7,000 in cost. I'm also paying for monthly financial accounting, so that's $2,500 above. So is that $9,000 above par? Let's say it's $9,000. I also gave my staff pay raises, but I was accounting for that. And then, filing, they did that. So that's built in, but that's fine. So I'm paying, so here we go. All in, my costs are about $9,000 above what the prior person was doing. Now, these are all factors that I missed, but the studio was doing more than that in monthly profit on paper. So I figured 15 in profit, assuming some stuff falls. Yeah, so the studio on paper did 15,000 in SD. So discretionary. And so I was, and this is smoothed out, averaged out, $9,000 of added cost, $6,000 on paper should be my take-home profit. I'm not paying myself nearly. That sounds really juicy. I'm not paying myself. So I'm not going to complain about it because I have my time. The seller did not have their time, but these are just factors that are in there. So to get the same annual profit that the seller had, revenue's got to go up, or prices go up, or the members stay longer. We're going to do all three. But those are the hidden costs. Seeing the sweat equity. Look at their day job. Look at when they're in person. Don't just look at the spreadsheet. Actually, drop in on the business. Are they on site? Ask staff like, hey, is Jim here today? We're like, oh no, okay. Sorry, I was going to try to surprise him. Okay, he's not in. How is he in on like Thursdays, or is he better on Fridays? Like, is he still doing the 20-hour weeks he told me he was doing? Like, oh no, and then the staff like make a joke out of it. The staff will be like, oh no, he's never in here anymore. Wah ha ha. Or we're like, oh man, no, he's in here like 60 hours a week. He just has a lunch break right now. Then okay. So unless the owner is just killing time, they're doing something, and you got to go to the spreadsheet. Or if you can't show on a spreadsheet, then they're kind of like the double employee thing. They're doing sweat equity work where it doesn't look like they're on paper, and they should be on paper. So look at their day jobs. Look at where they spend their time. If they have multiple locations, where else are they physically located, and all that good stuff. On this second deal with the same owners, the personal trainer owner is gone. However, of the three studios, one of the partners in that third studio that I'm not buying, she's already doing some work in person at the studio that I'm buying. So that'll be hidden in the payroll side of things as well. So it'll be a similar reap. So I'll get the 12 months of financial statements, but the most recent 3 months, since it's been 3 months since that first deal closed, that'll be more realistic. It'll still be hidden inside because one of the partners from their side of things is still involved. It won't fully show through, but it's still be more realistic. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm paying a 3x multiple on it, and I'm not going to get a 3x multiple in return because my time is still spent on my day job. So I'll probably, in reality, on paper, it would do 180 in SDE. 90 is going to go towards the SBA payment. I'll probably pay another 50 to 60 out of cost. So it's like a $30,000 return on that I'll pay myself. So it's not this big cash money maker. So the business model's got to change a bit so that it's able to pay me to leave my day job. Whenever that happens. That may happen soon, that may happen never. I don't know. All I have to say is salary between the lines. That's how to account for sweat equity. And that's how to make sure you're buying a solid seller deal. Time to go pump some weight. Let's rock and roll.
This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.